Hey y'all, welcome to Clove Room. Today I want to offer my review of some Salt New York products. I recently, maybe a few months ago, made a purchase from the brand for the first time in a couple, if not several, years. And I got the peach corrector. I got this palette, and the peach corrector was originally in the palette, but then I ended up buying one more thing and switching it out, blah, blah, blah. But I have the contour, the Sculpt and bronze actually, in the shade Taupe, the Radiant Cream Tint Pro in Beige, and then I have two of the lip and cheeks. One of them is Cocoa Light, which is in their permanent collection, and then one of them is a shade from the collab they did with the creator Hannah-Louise Poston. This is the shade Aniseed. And I have used these products for months. So this is like a full-on review. I will be demoing them in this video, putting them on with you, and of course giving all of my thoughts, which are varied, let me tell you. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Cam. I love beauty and I love to make makeup content, but I do it from a little bit more of an intentional lens. I like to bring in conscious consumption into my relationship with my beauty products, and I like to talk about it on YouTube. And also occasionally I do like to do reviews like this because I am a beauty curious person and I am a person who loves beauty in general. And I will say I did not get any of this in PR. This was all bought with my own money, and I have no affiliate. Like, I'm not affiliated with Salt New York at all, and I don't think ever going to be on the PR list. So if that also helps maybe make the review just mean a little bit something else. I know a lot of people have gotten Salt PR recently, I think, and a lot of folks got the Hannah-Louise Poston collab in PR. So if you're looking for a non-PR review, I don't necessarily think that makes this review better. I just think it makes it different. It's a different experience buying a product with your money than it is receiving it from a brand complimentary, in my opinion. I kind of cut into my intro there to talk about kind of the base of this video. But if you do end up enjoying this video, please subscribe for future content. I've been posting a lot more regularly, which I've been really enjoying. I have been really needing this outlet lately of talking about makeup and beauty. And do give this video a like if you do enjoy it. That helps me out a lot. Hey y'all, jumping in. So I had actually filmed this before the unaliving of Alex Preddy, who by all accounts was a nurse, an ICU nurse in the VA, who in his final moments was trying to help a peaceful observer who he thought was not being treated respectfully. And by all accounts, what was no real threat to the agents who unalived him, and in his final moments had an iPhone and his hand up. I'm struggling a bit right now with even still posting this video, and the awkwardness of of just in a few seconds you're gonna get back to seeing another beauty review. But I don't want to stop posting content, but I also can't not say something. And if this feels disruptive to the video, that's because we have to be disruptive right now. There is no escapism when innocent Americans and our neighbors are being treated like this. There's just no escapism from that. I don't care. I think there's breaks you can take from scrolling and such, but I refuse to act like this isn't happening right now. I made calls to my representatives using 5calls.org yesterday, both of my senators to vote against ICE funding, and then to my House representative to encourage engagement with legislation to abolish ICE and defund ICE. Again, we're about to just get back to another beauty review. And if that's what you need right now, then continue. But if you need peace right now and to meditate, do that. If you need to, perhaps take a few minutes, use 5 calls, even when the lines aren't staffed, you can still leave a voicemail, and make sure to leave your address when you do that, so that they will tally your thoughts with where you live and know that it's in their jurisdiction and their district. Please be safe. And especially if you're if you're in Minnesota, if you're in Minneapolis, and I love y'all. Okay. So I have a bunch of skincare on. My skin has been so dry lately, and I also have brows on, because I always have brows before I come on camera. My hair is kind of wet because I'm air drying it right now. So we have a little bandana, or not bandana, a headband. And I feel very preppy for some reason. I don't know, this every time I put a headband on like this, I'm like, okay, she plays tennis, she goes to boarding school. I did want to give some context about my prior experiences using Salt New York. So I have used quite a bit from Salt New York in previous years. It's probably been like 2 or 3 years since I bought something new from them, but I have used up the Sneaky Balm at least once. I had another one that I used most of, if not like half of up. I have used most of one of their lip and cheeks up, the original shade Cocoa. I like used probably about half of that. Like I had a pretty major pan in it, probably more than half. I have used up a complete light medium Sculpt in bronze and a light Sculpt in bronze and a taupe Sculpt in bronze. A lot of pans of that. I think something that's really nice about Salt New York is it can be a give and take, because I think something like the Sneaky Balm, which I'm not going to talk about today, but I remember going through that product very, very quickly. I know they sell larger pans of it now, which I think is very, very good, because that was definitely a product that I flew through when I used it. Their cheek products, I think if you use them every day, you're going to run through them in like 3 or 4 months. But as somebody who has not like a large makeup collection, but I have a larger makeup collection than most, I find the size of Salt New York's products actually pretty nice, because it feels like you can use them up. It doesn't feel unrealistic to pan Salt New York products. And I also find the prices right for these. The pans, the refill pans, cost $16. Most of mine I bought when they were having a sale. So the Corrector, Cocoa Blush, Taupe Sculpt in Bronze, and the Beige highlighter, I got all of those for $12 each. And then I got this palette for $19, which was only $1 discount, so that wasn't much. And then the Hannah Louise Poston blush, that was also $16 full price, except the larger pan of Sneaky Ball. I'm pretty sure every pan of product they sell is $16. Kudos to them for also not making the Hannah Louise Poston collab more expensive just because it was a collab. A lot of brands do that. Kudos on that. But that one I had like Hannah's discount code, which was like 10 or 15% off. So I think that one was more like 14 something. Even at the full price of $16, I think that's a very fair price for pan of cream product. And it's not like there's not a good amount of product in these pans, but again, it's just nice to have things you can actually finish up. How often? I mean, I'm doing a project pan right now, and I just did an empties video where I had some empties from makeup that were products that had gone bad. How often does that happen? So I like it, especially because these are handmade products in New York. I don't think Salt New York self-describes as clean or anything. However, once I had used kind of the last wave or generation of my Salt New York products up 2 or 3 years ago, I just kind of felt like I was moving away from the brand. It's very, very light coverage. It's very, very dewy. It can be no makeup. Obviously, you can also wear these products in a manner of makeup, but I just found my preferences kind of changing, and I wouldn't describe what I like to wear day to day as like a full beat or anything, but I am kind of a little bit more into maybe like, instead of light coverage, like light to medium coverage. I like a strong cheek. I like products to kind of stick around a little bit longer, and I remember Salt New York was one of those brands I had tried a lot from, and I hadn't tried a lot from a lot of other brands. So it was just something where it felt like I was moving away from Salt New York, both in preference and then also just being, again, a beauty curious person who wanted to try other brands. However, at the end of last year, because I think I bought these November, I want to say. You know what? I could look this up. I have the information. So I purchased this original quad that included the peach corrector and not the Hannah Louise Poston blush October 2nd, and it was delivered October 9th. I purchased the blush from Hannah's collab on the 9th of November, and it didn't get delivered until the 28th of November. I think they're having a lot of shipping issues with how popular the Hannah collab was. Like, I bought it well after not well after, but a couple of weeks after the collection had come out, and I kind of figured it would just be a while. But I kept seeing people I followed getting PR. I kept seeing people I liked talking about how much they were enjoying Salt New York. And I said, maybe I'll retry it. Maybe we'll see what's up now, how it matches my preferences now. And the results, as I've kind of indicated, have been mixed. I would say half of these products I really quite like. A couple of these I do not like and hate, perhaps. And I want to really differentiate here. When I don't like something, I don't think it automatically means it's a bad product. It just means it's not for me and my preferences. I also want to say, obviously I'm going to be critical of Salt New York in this video and their products. They get a lot of kudos from me for being a small business, for being a woman-owned business, for speaking out about issues. I've seen them speak out about abortion rights. There's a lot there that I really like. However, small businesses are still businesses and are still brands. I am not here to blow smoke up any brand's ass. I'm just not, even the brands I really, really enjoy, I will tell you when I don't like a product from them or I don't like a decision from them. And you can really enjoy the person behind that small business and really admire them as a business person, as a makeup artist, whatever you want to say. That does not change the fact that the actual small business is not the person. It's a business and they're still selling products to you. They're still asking money for these products. All right, enough about that. I have a lot of skincare on my face because my skin has been so dry lately and I do have brows on. But that is it. I will say I had previously filmed some demo footage of these products, but I had like a very full eyeshadow look on and I was just gonna like talk through the B-roll, but it didn't seem like a very fair test of these products because they really are meant for more low coverage makeup looks. And it's not that you can't wear a loud eye look with low coverage makeup looks, but I felt it was best to show them with like more of a natural face, and I'll probably put on some eyeshadow after this. So this is the Best Case Concealer Complimentary Peach Light. Why does it say complimentary on it? I don't really know why it says complimentary. But this is the brand's lightest color correcting shade. If you've been here before, I love color correcting my stubble. I find it is a nice way to not like just pound product on it, but actually helps correct for the darkness and just makes me feel more confident, you know, as a trans woman who is very insecure about her stubble. What I usually use is a pinky peach, but really more of a pink. So my favorites right now are, actually I'll swatch all these before I do that. So this right here is a NYX Pro Fix Stick in pink, Kosas Revealer Concealer Corrector in Magic, I think, which is the lightest pinky shade. And then this is the Salt New York Corrector in peach. Of course, it's more peach than the rest of them because it is called Peach Light. It's not claiming to be pink. This product did not work for me for like every reason under the sun. Some of those reasons are preferences, some of those are formula. I found through this, I really need some pink in the corrector. I don't know if it's undertone. I don't know if it's because I have blue eyes. I have just found, and not just with this product, with a ton of products, I cannot use products that have orange in them. And if it does have orange, it needs to have a lot of red. It needs to have a lot of gold. It needs to have more than just orange or peach because it walks into the room before my face does. Like, it is wild how not at home it looks on my face. Like, it pops off my face. And again, that could be eye color, that could be undertone, I don't really know. So I've had much more success in color correcting my stubble with a pink. Even though if you watch content online about correcting beard stubble for fair to light skin tones, most people say you need like a peachier color. So I thought when I was going to do this kind of brand review, I thought this would be a good opportunity to test that to see if this peach would even work. And I was also just interested in what this could do. It's like a peach. Like, this is not peach tinted. This is a peach colored corrector. However, Salt New York, again, is really known for more light coverage, natural makeup. I was interested because it looked like a pretty intense, true color correcting tone. I had never tried the Best Case Concealer formula, but I figured it was at most medium coverage, but that was probably pushing it because, again, Salt New York is like, the Sneaky Balm is one of the sheerest products I've ever used. Like, it is as sheer as the Glossier Skin Tint. Like, it is sheer without the blurring qualities, which is why it's not really my favorite. So I was confused if this was giving full color corrector, or is it more akin to something like the Becca under eye brightener pot, if you know? I think Smashbox sells it now, but that kind of famous product. What is it? And the answer I have found is neither. I'm just puzzled, like, to be honest. If it was just like a really dewy color corrector that I could use under my eyes, I could accept that. The texture is pretty thick, like you really have to warm it up to like be able to blend it out. I mean, again, that's orange. Like, that is creamsicle peach. I'm not even going to try to correct my stubble with this. It is terrible at that. And I kind of suspected that, but to me, if you're selling a color corrector, I'm a trans girl and I use color correctors to correct stubble. So if it's a color corrector, I feel like I should be able to do that successfully. That's how I feel. You may feel differently, and that's fine, but that's how I feel. It works terribly for that. This just like will not blend in a way that isn't, like, even me doing that, like, it blends out patchy, it clings to texture, it doesn't even really look dewy or anything, it just looks disruptive. Like, it's a waxy, creamy, disruptive texture to me. Like, just the color is wrong for me. If you really like a true creamsicle peach to correct, it may be right for you. But when I would try to wear this, as a corrector and put concealer over top, it looked like I had painted my beard stubble area orange, even with a full coverage concealer on top. And then that's where I get confused with this product. Not really a strong enough product, and it's not really a texture that lends itself to true medium full coverage or layering it with other products, but then also it doesn't look natural enough that, like, I'll put some under my eye. That is what I'm going to do. When I put it under my eye, I mean, that corrected a little bit. And it is okay at correcting, like, the blue. But I hope that's showing up how, like when I look in the mirror, and I hope it's showing up on camera, it looks like I just put orange over my concealer. It doesn't look like it's correcting that blue really effectively. It is sort of correcting that blue, but it also just looks orange around it, and it looks kind of patchy and unblended to me, like, in a mirror. And again, I'm not sure you're able to see that on camera, but when I look at it in a mirror, it's so hard to blend out. It grabs onto my texture, and it just looks orange. It doesn't look like I corrected anything. It looks like I just put an orange cream over my under eyes. And again, orange really jumps off my face, so that's, like, kind of a personal thing. But then this texture is, again, just so disruptive. I don't find product lays well over it. Like, if this was like the Becca corrector where you could just tap it under your eyes and you don't need to put anything else on and you're good to go, that I could understand. But this is supposed to be a color corrector, which means you're supposed to layer product over it, as far as I know. And I have just never had success laying product over this. And I mean, that's coupled with the fact that the color is just not right for me personally, but as a corrector, I am so confused about this product, and, like, I would rather just not even put it on under my eyes, to be honest, but I will for the purpose of this demo. For the stubble area, forget about it. Again, grabs onto every hair, emphasizes everything. The product lays terribly over it. The texture almost is more akin to, like, a face mask or something, like a clay face mask. It's just really does not agree with me. And as it's setting, it looks fine. It's just, I would rather use something like the Rare Beauty, like I have their kind of tinted eye brightener thing. I'd rather use that. I'd rather just use my Glossier Stretch Concealer. I would rather just use one of my other pink color correctors that can work on my stubble, something like the Kosas or the NYX. And again, that's also because I just don't love peach as corrector on me. It's definitely not for me. It looks so dry. I put so much skincare and, like, even some face oil in my moisturizer before I did this, so it's not because my skin's dry. Again, it's just, like, I feel like it's emphasizing my lines. This is a product, no, I stay away from. I'm not a fan. Obviously, I'm not a fan, and I don't recommend this at all. So that's the best case concealer in the peach corrector shade. I added some of my Glossier Stretch Concealer, a little bit of the Kosas corrector on my stubble, and then did, like, just, like, a really, like, light layer of a skin tone shadow on my lids because they looked very red compared to the rest of my face. Oh, and I didn't set anything yet, so these old New York products will be able to blend properly. I don't have any powder on my face. So the peach corrector is clearly, well, maybe not clearly, but I'll tell you, it's my least favorite product from Sol New York. It is the worst one I've ever tried. However, we're going to switch gears and talk about by far my favorite product from Sol New York, which is their Sculpt and Bronze formula in general, but specifically the shade Taupe I love. I think this is the only contouring sculpting shade this product really comes in, as far as I know, which I wish they would release more, but it's the perfect contour for me. They have a lot of other bronzing shades, but I'm not sure if any of them also sculpt, but I know for, at least in the light medium skin tones, this is their only sculpting shade. So that's, I was about to say biscuit, nope. That's Taupe in the Sculpt and Bronze. And I'll swatch it against a couple of other things I have. So this is Taupe from Salt New York. This is the cream biscuit stick from Westman Atelier, and then this is the biscuit powder from Westman Atelier. So I would say Taupe is actually pretty close to the biscuit powder. The cream is definitely a little bit more cool toned. And I will say, if you are somebody who likes a very, very cool toned contour and you're like fair to light, this is not it. Because I like it. I don't really like a cool tone, like a super cool tone contour. This gives me really nice dimension, but it doesn't make me look dead and it doesn't look unnatural on my face. When I've used things like Ritual Defeat, Intuition in the past, they make me look dead. This does not make me look dead. I have never used the product I'm about to reference, but Taupe for me reminds me a lot of how a lot of people use the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer, I think it's called, and the pan, the one that everyone has. It's like a cream product that almost everyone has pan on, and I'll probably have pan on this too, because it's really lightly pigmented and is honestly less like a true bronzer contour and more just like a true complexion enhancer. And that's what this feels like to me. I mean, it is a sculpting shade, but this feels as close to an extension of my complexion makeup as it does to a true contour, if that makes sense. It looks so natural on the skin. It is so easy to apply. It wears really well. Like, I'm not going to say it wears all day, but at the end of the day, I can still see it. It is creamy and like blendable, but it doesn't feel like Vaseline or anything. It feels like maybe it doesn't like truly dry down, but it settles on the skin nicely and again wears really well. I'm a huge fan of this product. I mean, I've used 3 pans of it up in the past, and that was like a few years ago, but this was one I had already tried, and I've already tried this shade, but I did miss it, and I am really happy to have it back. I really enjoy Western Atelier Biscuit too, but that one I wear it on a lot of days, but if I want but if I'm doing something very, very natural or something lighter coverage, or don't want my makeup to be too much, my face makeup to be too much, if I'm doing like a loud eye look or a lip, this is what I reach for my sculpting product. And again, it's not even, to me, it doesn't even really read as contour bronzer. To me, it just reads as an extension of my complexion makeup, and it's a phenomenal product. It's a phenomenal formula. When we get to the lip and cheek in just a second, I'm going to talk about how I wish their blushes were in this formula, because I find it to stick around so much better, to wear so much better, to look so much better on my skin. Like, it just looks like my skin, and it looks like it's healthy and has like life, but it doesn't look like unnatural at all or make my skin look worse or anything. Like, it's really just, it's so nice. I love this product, and it's definitely my favorite product from Salt New York. I also really like their bronzer shades too, especially the light medium one. The light one is a little bit more, I feel like, peach, and the light medium is a little bit more neutral golden. So that's why I like the light medium, at least from what I remember. That was, again, 2 to 3 years ago I used up those products. This is something where Salt New York now sells individual compacts, and I have thought about buying an individual compact for this pan because I love it so much. And I'll talk more about the packaging of Salt New York at the end, but it is a product like I would want to travel with. All right, we're going to talk about the lip and cheeks now. A reason for this purchase was I missed the taupe shade, which I just talked about how much I enjoy, and I missed the color of cocoa. I don't know if Salt New York's lip and cheeks, even a few years ago, were ever my favorite blush formula. I always found them a little sticky, a little too dewy, a little too Vaseline-y. But I really loved the shade Cocoa. And they've revamped their permanent blush line to, I think, only have like 4 or 5 shades, but each shade has 3 levels to it. And Cocoa is one of those. And they said if you liked Cocoa in the past, you should buy Cocoa Medium. But then from the swatches online, I was like, I feel like I should do Cocoa Light. And I am going to say, a point of criticism I have with Salt New York and their website is I find the swatches really hard to understand. Things, including the Hannah Louise Poston collection especially, things are swatched super, super opaquely on their website. And I'm guessing that's to give you the truest sense of the actual color of the product. However, like, I'll swatch Aniseed for you right now. And I picked up like a good bit on my finger, going across my hand. This is how it swatches on me. I'm going to now show you the website swatch of Aniseed. Radically different. And I mean, I guess I can like 2, 3, 4. That's 4 layers of Aniseed on my hand. And I feel like it still doesn't look as intense as the swatch online. That was kind of a point of confusion when I was returning to the brand, to be honest. Figuring out the swatch imagery they use online and how that would relate to how it would actually apply. I feel like there's room to grow in that area. I understand wanting to make sure that the truest sense of the color comes through in product imagery. It didn't do a good job of telling me, and of course I've used these products before, but this was like a revamped like line, and it was a revamped like, you know, like having a light, medium, and dark, so I didn't exactly know what I was getting into, and it felt like, well, I'm light, so I should get the light. So again, I did not buy Aniseed originally. That was, well, it wasn't released yet when I purchased this quad in October. I did buy Cocoa Light, and I was so disappointed. So disappointed when I got it. So this is a swatch of Cocoa Light. It is very light, and that's not a bad thing. There's a lot of fair people, and I'm pretty fair right now. There's a lot of fair people who like a low pigment blush. However, it's just, it was giving me nothing. It was giving me nothing. And I really regretted not getting medium. So when Hannah launched her collab collection, I was like, well, I want to try that anyway. I mean, not just to support Hannah, but also, I mean, I'm a fan of Hannah's content, but a lot of the shades looked interesting. I'm so glad I waited for people to review that collection because, again, based on the swatches on their website, I was like, well, I know Cocoa Light is too light on me, but like, those swatches look intense. Like, I should probably get a light shade. Thank God for people who put out content before I bought stuff. I think Hot Vegan Hannah was the first video I watched of the HLP shades. And she actually bought hers, I'm pretty sure. I don't think she got it in PR. And she got the light quad. She posted a video pretty soon after it launched. And I mean, if you don't follow Hot Vegan Hannah, what are you doing? I mean, if you like beauty content, if you like single eyeshadow content, if you like more intentional beauty people, Hot Vegan Hannah, go follow her. But I was shocked how light the shades appeared on her. And I think she was like, oh, I like this. Like, I like softer blush shades. But for me, and again, my experience with Cocoa Light, I was like, oh, I guess I have to get the medium ones. And then my sister, Tom, Hope Mess Tom, made a video. They got the collection in PR. And they also said, these light shades are so light. And they really preferred the medium shades. So I was glad I waited. Let influencers do their work in the world before you buy things. It was a good lesson. And I'm really happy I waited. Because on the website, this looked like it would be way too dark for me. And actually, in reality, it still doesn't, like, this is it blended out on my hand. This is Aniseed. It still doesn't give me enough. I can appreciate a lighter pigment blush look, but I feel like when I put these on my cheeks, I get nothing. I get no color payoff, like whether it's with my hands or brushes. I don't use sponges, and I don't think a sponge would help in this scenario because I need more pigment, not less. It just would give me nothing, and then I would build it. And once I finally got at least something, then the texture would become a problem. These are very dewy. I remember Hannah saying in her collection launch that her blush formula, like they made it a little bit more stable and a little bit less dewy and a little bit more, what's the very Hannah Louise? Sturdy. I don't really notice a difference, if I'm totally honest. Like when I go into both of these, they feel like this is Cocoa Light, this is Aniseed. They feel like and look like the same formula. Maybe Aniseed dries down a little bit more, but it's super negligible, like super negligible. Even though this is a darker color, it's still, one, I don't think I got the right color, which is on me. That is on me. This just looks so good on my sister Tom, who is more cool tone than me. And I probably should have gotten Oyster Fig instead, which I think is the more neutral, like old gummy one, and less like, this is like the purple bruisey one. But I can appreciate a purple boozy. I can appreciate a purple boozy moment, but I can appreciate a purple bruisey moment. To show you an example, so let me get some swatches going. Because I think an argument that I hear, or not an argument, but people really like these blushes for no makeup, like you don't even put any complexion product on. And I have done that with these. I remember I went out to breakfast with a friend a few weeks ago and I was like, this will be a good test. I just had an SPF. I think I threw the Glossier skin tint on, which if you've used before know is like no coverage. I didn't have any like concealer on, didn't put any like stubble corrector, just had the Glossier skin tint and threw these blushes on. They still looked bad. They make my skin look worse. Just break everything apart under them. And even on clean skin, even on skin without any complexion product on it, it still like to me it almost just looked like rosacea or something. Like these are just a little patchy for me. Again, with complexion, without complexion, these apply a little patchy for me, and both the light shade and the medium shade. I can get behind a no complexion, just cream blush to go to brunch look. Love that look. But I wanted to show a couple of things I prefer to use for that look. One of those is the Ilia multi-stick. This is the shade Ladybird, but the Salt New York products are balms, and they're like especially the blush is like super, super thin, like very, very thin between my fingers. This kind of cream is like an actual cream. Like this has pigment, this has body, and that is what I prefer. A lot of people don't prefer this, but I prefer like a thicker cream, almost like a lipstick texture. And again, you'll see, I mean, obviously this is a lot brighter. A lot of y'all are gonna like the shade in the middle a lot, Aniseed from Salt New York, but this just is like, I feel like offers like that coverage I kind of want from a blush. Last on my skin, whether I have like complexion product, whether I just have a skin tint on, this will last most of the day and grip onto my skin and apply evenly. Also, if we're going to talk about no makeup blushes, we have to talk about Glossier Cloud Paint. This is my last Cloud Paint. I don't love a liquid blush. I do prefer a cream pan formula. But even so, I think one of the gifts of Cloud Paint is that on no makeup or on very, very light coverage, these look so incredibly natural on the skin. And this is dusk, so it looks, I mean, and it is a lot warmer than the rest of them. It's not like my favorite shade in the world. But this formula actually looks like it's a part of your skin. And again, the Salt New York, for me, when I put it on nothing, it doesn't look like my skin. It looks like I put tinted Vaseline on my skin. These two, if I'm going to brunch and doing a cute little no makeup look, these are like the two formulas I'm reaching for. The formula this reminds me the most of is the Merit Flesh Balms, also a balm. The Merit has, and this is in the shade Bespoke, and you can see how brown and purple this shade is compared to the rest. So, I mean, the shades, if you're into desaturated Hannah Louise Poston tones, like, I mean, she made them, so they're gonna be good for that. This reminds me a lot of the Salt New York formula. The Merit one, I feel like sticks around a little bit more. It blends a little bit better. It doesn't look patchy when it blends. It has kind of the same problem as the Salt New York does for me, where it fades pretty quickly. I think that's just like the nature of a balmy formula. It has that same thinness, but it has a little bit more body. It does have a little bit more body, because when I would rub the Salt New York between my hands, like, it quickly disappeared. This one has just a little bit more body, and again, it's not like if I was repurchasing all my cream blushes for the first time, I mean, I would probably just go to Phytosurgeons, and we'll swatch that one too, why not? Let's do a whole comparison fest. Let's swatch Exothermic. The Phytosurgeons, they describe it as like a melting chocolate truffle, and there's definitely some body, but it does also dry down to a powder finish. This is a very different product than the Salt New York, I recognize that, and that's why I didn't even have it out to comparison swatch. This is my favorite cream blush formula, and it's not that distinct from Aniseed. It's definitely like redder, has a lot more red in it than Aniseed does. This one is a lot more full coverage than the Salt New York, but even so, once you blend it out, it really just looks at home on the skin, and I think it's because it has that like creamy texture in the body. There are those. I did not swatch these for color, I swatched these for texture, but Salt New York Cocoa Light, Salt New York and Hannah Louise Poston Aniseed, Ilia Ladybird Multi-Stick, Glossier Dusk, looking positively Oompa Loompa, Merit Bespoke Flesh Balm, and Phytosurgeons Exothermic Skin Spark Cream Blush. It's just something about the Salt New York that doesn't give me that blend. It looks patchy, and that is with both hands and brushes. I think I like a brush to apply these more. In the original demo footage, I applied them with my hand, and they looked so bad, like they would not blend, and that was on an unset base. But let's start with Cocoa Light on one side, and then I'll do Aniseed on the other, and then we'll even them up. I'm using a BK Beauty 109. So right away to me, it's just emphasizing like my pores, and there's not a lot of products that emphasize my pores, and it's weird because it's like such a thin texture, but it's so dewy. And to me, it's not. It is a little bit patchy. And the dew it's giving is not, like I said, it's not flattering. It's more just looks Vaseline-y. So that's Cocoa Light. And then let's use Aniseed. And again, I think the shade is a little too cool tone for me. And again, it's really like sitting on my skin. Like I do like Cocoa Light a little bit better. Because I just don't know if Aniseed's like a great shade for me. So weird. Like it looks like it's drying out my skin by emphasizing the dry patches, but it's also like a wet layer. And it also definitely like interferes with complexion makeup. I'm gonna even those up. My skin just absolutely eats these. Like it will be gone in less than an hour, probably. If I put powder blush on top, that of course will make it stay a little bit longer. But these definitely are sticky and just not my favorite blush formula. Also the lip aspect, they work okay. They just sit on top of your lips. Like I'll use a little Aniseed. Like that looks fine, but it just feels like it's sitting on top of my lips. And it's not something I'm going to do. Like I'm just going to use like a tinted lip balm or something, because also when I inevitably need to reapply this like pretty quickly, I'm not going to like carry this around. So it doesn't look terrible. And honestly with lip and cheeks, I usually use them for one or the other. All right, last product we're going to talk about is my other favorite product from Sculpt New York, and that is the Radiant Cream Tint Pro. I have the shade Beige. Love this product. I will say with cream highlighters, I really forget to use them a lot. So I'm not the best at using my cream highlighters, but I love, this product is kind of odd, but I love it. So this is their like permanent line highlighter. This is not the one that Hannah came out with. I think that's a much more wet look one. It's so interesting because one, I love the shade Beige. It is truly like a beigey, goldy, champagne-y shade. So I don't like it when I put on a cream highlighter and it feels like I just put on Vaseline, kind of how I feel about the blush. This doesn't feel like that. It actually looks like highlighter in like a really great way. Like it looks like I did something on my cheek. Like maybe not even like a powder, because it really melts into the skin, but it does actually have a good amount of body. It does have like a good amount of pigment, and I just love it. And I notice at the end of the day, it's still there. Like I think it actually lasts better than any of the Sculpt New York products, like including the Taupe Sculpt and Bronze that I really like. This will last all day, and it's just so unique. Like it's not nearly as dewy or wet look as my other cream highlighters, and I kind of like that. It's like a good cream highlighter for somebody who likes powder highlighters, I guess, but it still looks really natural, but it does actually look like makeup, and I don't know how else to say that. It's just so many cream highlighters are such a waste of money because you couldn't achieve the same result with Aquaphor or Vaseline. And this is not that. This actually feels like you're putting on makeup. It actually looks like a highlighter in like the best way. And I just feel like it also kind of perfects the cheek. And I just feel like these two formulas I love, and I think they are so, if we're using a Hannah word, sturdy. I think they stick around, and they just lend themselves to both really, really natural looks, but I can also use them in my makeup looks. Like they're really great. And these, the blush formula, and then let's forget about the color corrector. Like the blush formula, the lip and cheek formula, I feel it on my skin just being dewy and kind of annoying. That's the trouble with Sculpt New York for me, is that I love the idea of a face palette. I love the idea of a cream face palette. I just wish they would iterate on this lip and cheek formula a little. Like if we got a lip and cheek formula that was more akin to the Sculpt and Bronze formula, that would be exciting, because I do think the colors are nice. Like they have a lot of different neutral nude colors, whatever that means to you. I mean, the colors that Hannah came out with are very cool, very desaturated, of course. And even like in their main collection, like I wish I liked this formula enough so I could try Cocoa Medium again, and because I loved the color of that blush so much. But then, and especially now, the formula, it really just kills it for me, and it just doesn't, it makes it hard because so much of Sculpt New York is this idea of this is like your like all-in-one face palette. Not liking the blush formula really puts a wrench in that for me. I like need to put on powder, and I'll be right back to talk about final thoughts. Don't even ask me what's going on with my hair. My hair is, I was gonna do something cute with it for the end, and then I've just been wrestling with it for the past like 20 minutes, and I'm kind of stressed out about it. All right, that is the video from Salt New York in the future, I would love, again, to just see a different blush formula. It's like the main thing. But I definitely could see myself buying a single compact to keep taupe with my other single contours, because the only time I really reach for this is for taupe and then occasionally beige. I do really like beige. Again, I just forgot to use cream highlighters. So that is the video. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of people have different takes on Salt New York, and I know a lot of people really like that cream blush formula, so I may be a loner in that, but it's just not for me. Like this video if you did enjoy it. It helps me a lot in the wild, wild west of the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see future videos. Hype if you must. And thank y'all so much for being here. We're gonna be okay. Bye, y'all.